So we're back here talking about the Sony ZV-E10 and pretty much the reasons why I'm actually gonna buy this thing. Like, as the title says, yes, I'm actually gonna buy it, but it's on a couple of conditions. If it records unlimited 4K and doesn't overheat. Now, as most of you guys know, that the ZV-1 in 4K, you are only limited to 5 minutes continuous 4K recording, which, this can be an issue if you're recording for longer periods of time, or if you've got it as a top-down camera, and you don't really want to be stressing, oh, is that actually going to be stopped recording while I'm doing my unboxing or something? That can actually be a problem, and the overheating can also be a problem as well, because it is such a small body, recording 4K, maybe that's why they actually limited it, because it could generate a whole bunch of heat in that small body, because it is pretty much the same size as like the A6000 or A5000 series. We're gonna be talking about that because I feel like it's very similar size to the A6000 minus the EVF. But if you wanna check out the full rumored specs of that camera, link will be in the description below. This one is more about these first leaked photos. Now, the ZV-E10 has been leaked by apparently a big YouTuber, but he took the video down really quickly. I think he somehow messed up the timing, but it shows that it's got a flip screen, which is absolutely fantastic for vloggers and content creators who want that flip screen. We are limited to the flip up screen on the A6000 series. That's been going on for a very, very long time. This is the Nex 5R with the flip up. No EVF, so it makes it easier to flip straight up. Whereas this one, the Sony ZV-E10 has no EVF, so it flips out, fully articulating screen. Now, it is meant to be announced on the 7th of July, which Sony has actually announced. Sony's announced that they've announced it. Anyway, this is gonna be really interesting, specifically with the whole global chip shortage, going on at the moment. So who knows when we're actually gonna be able to get this thing in our hands to purchase. Now, it does seem to have the zoom rocket at the top, which I am actually quite excited for. It's like the FX3 had this, and it is fantastic for zoom lenses. Now, the kit lens that's meant to come with it is your regular 16-50 lens, which is a power zoom lens. So that'll work very well with that lens. I think there's an 18-105 version that's got power zoom as well. So that's gonna be great. But also, I've been using the power zoom quite a lot on my FX6 and utilizing it with the clear image zoom function. Now, that gives me just that little bit extra reach if I physically cannot walk any further forward. You just got that 1.5 times clear image zoom, which surprisingly looks fabulous. It's great, and it comes in it's just so handy. It's super awesome to have. Now, this side door seems to be very similar size to the A6000 series, A6000 or A6400. It does look like it only has the 3 ports. I reckon it's got USB-C, which is pretty much standard in 2021, micro HDMI, and a microphone jack. I reckon it's just got those 3. Technically, that's all it really needs. You don't need a headphone jack at the moment. I mean, it'd be fantastic if it did have it, but it doesn't need it. Now, the fully articulating screen is another one of those buying points, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the flip up, but sometimes when you're in front of the camera, you can only see partial of the image, and it is a little bit annoying. I prefer that flip out with the A7S III. It's, makes it so much more handy when you are placing it into particular situations and you can't get around the camera, or if you're limited with space, flipping it up, flipping it out, it's just fabulous, The screen of the A6000 on the A7 III, flipping up is just so dated. Hopefully they'll never ever go back to that. But now everything pretty much looks very similar to the A6000. The obvious difference at the top, the hot shoes in a different spot, the record button's there, the custom button, you've got the on and off switch there as well, and the dial is gone with another custom button right there, and there's a zoom rocker as well, and you've got that large thing in the middle right here, which seems to be like the ZV-1, where you've got the microphone. You can chuck that large dead cat on there, which you can actually see on the Sony announcement video thing. You can see the dead cat sitting there. So, it gets relatively decent audio. Now, it does seem to have the same W50 batteries, which, does suck. I mean, I saw a video that did this. He reckons there's going to be the new FZ100 batteries, which is in the A7 III and all the newer cameras. I don't think so. I think it's going to stick with the sucky W50 batteries, yeah, you need about 5 of these if you're gonna be shooting all day. They're pretty damn crap, but they're cheap. You can buy them off Amazon, super, super cheap. I do recommend you get the Sony ones because they do last longer and they're not gonna explode on you or anything crazy. But if you do get third-party options, there's plenty out there anyway. The great thing that I actually have is a D-tap to W50 dummy battery, which I can actually use external power into the camera. So that is something to think about if you are, investing in the A6000 series cameras. Now the ZV-E10 is meant to have very similar specs to the A6600, but in the smaller body, which is really interesting. And it does seem to have the active stabilization, which seems to be that electronic stabilization. It is super handy. Like sometimes IBIS is great. I mean, if it has IBIS, that would be absolutely amazing, but it is better than nothing because the A6400, the A6000 does not have IBIS and it really sucks. You definitely need a lens with OSS or it's very difficult to get stable footage. Perfect for photos, but when it comes to video, it becomes a little bit more difficult. You'll probably have to invest in a gimbal. Now, the main reason why I love APS-C cameras is, well, because they perform super good for the price. Like most of the time with these cameras, I am posting on YouTube or Instagram, and you can pretty much notice no difference. I mean, dynamic range is probably the biggest telltale sign when it comes to cheaper cameras. Yeah, granted, it only has that Sony 8-bit, which isn't exactly the greatest when it comes to color grading, but I would assume the color science would be the new color science anyway, so it would be pretty decent in these cameras. But what do you guys think? Is this something that you're wanting to get? Are you investing in an interchangeable lens camera? Are you from a point and shoot camera? Is this something for professionals? I mean, I classify myself as a professional. I am a working professional as a full-time freelancer, and I will be buying this camera. But it fits my specific needs as family and travel and just basic camera that I can throw in a backpack and away I go. I don't have to worry about, bringing my A7 III or bringing the FX6 is just almost physically impossible in some situations. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great camera and a good start for Sony to be pushing these smaller cameras. And there's tons of APS-C lenses out there, budget lenses like this. What's this? This is a Per Gear 25mm f1.8. which, I think sets you back like 60 bucks. It's super duper cheap, and a 1.8, that's fabulous. Lets in so much light. There's so many of these third-party lenses, and I definitely recommend you take a look at some of these. But yeah, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, comment below of your thoughts on the Sony EV10, on the Sony ZV-E10, and yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if this is something you're going to be purchasing, and yeah, other than that, I'll see you in the next one. All right, let's get it.